Hello, buddy, and welcome to a update on now Hurricane Isaias here, currently going on just north of the island of Hispaniola. There, the storm, luckily for itself, passed just north of those highest mountain peaks on the island of Hispaniola. Thus, why able to see it blow up that big burst of convection, the latest frames there. Um, so we now have Hurricane Isaias in Atlantic here. This is going to be the second hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season so far. And this is imagery off of GO16 mesoscale sector. So you're getting one image every minute here off of GO16. That's why I do see the image kind of like in a square format because the image is the satellite is focusing on this one area, this one sector of the world here, and providing that 1 minute imagery for meteorologists and everybody that's watching the storm closely, like I am. But Isaias formed. Not too long. Well, it formed a few days back, and it went over the island of Hispaniola here. And like I said, it passed over the northern part of the island, away from the highest mountain peaks. Had Isaias gone straight through the highest mountain peaks, we probably wouldn't be talking about a hurricane right now. Probably would be talking about a still moderate or low end tropical storm. But unfortunately, it passed through the northern part of the island, away from those highest mountain peaks, and got back over water. And as you can see here, bursting that new burst of convection firing off over the center of circulation here. Here's the water vapor imagery. Also off of GO16, this isn't mesoscale imagery because you can see pretty much the full area of imagery. This is CONUS imagery, so that's why it's cut off on the east side there. So one image roughly every 5 minutes, I believe it is, if I remember correctly. But you can see that all that dry air to its west, not really going to be an issue at this point in time because of the sheer moisture envelope of this storm at this point in time. Dry air is not going to be much of an inhibitor for this storm at this point in time unless the center of circulation becomes more and more exposed over time. Let's go to the latest information on not tropical storm, Hurricane Isaias now. Again, it was just updated about an hour or so ago, and now is Hurricane Isaias and the second hurricane. It's 2020 Atlantic hurricane season here. You can see hurricane warning issued for central and southeastern Bahamas as of 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday, July 31st. The current location, as of this latest update, is 20.4 degrees north, 72.2 degrees west, moving to the northwest at 18 miles per hour, and minimum central pressure is at 995 millibars, and maximum sustained winds are at 1 minute sustained winds are at 80 miles per hour. And the reasoning for this upgrade in winds, I'll go more in detail about that later. But I'm just going to talk about the cone here. This is the latest cone of uncertainty here, off of the National Hurricane Center, and they have it hitting the Carolina Outer Banks as a Category 1 hurricane and passing quite close to the eastern part of Florida there, eastern coastline of Florida there. In fact, parts of eastern Florida are still on the cone of uncertainty here, so don't necessarily let your guard down with this storm. We can see that large area of tropical storm force winds radius from the storm. So even if you're not, say the storm follows the exact center line, those of you in, say, West Palm Beach or on the Treasure Coast still might experience tropical storm force winds, even if you're out of the cone in some places too. So just because the center line of the cone doesn't go right over your house doesn't mean you can't see the impacts of a storm. As you can see on the top part of this graphic here, it says the cone contains the probable path of the storm center, but does not show the size of the storm. Hazardous conditions can occur outside the cone. That is a key thing to keep in mind. I hear it all the time. People saying, "Well, it wasn't in the cone, but so I didn't expect to have conditions like this." As you can see, this big radius of tropical storm force winds is nothing to mess around with at all. So even again, if you're not in a cone, you're still going to be getting some inclement weather impacts, even if you're not exactly in the cone per se, or in the middle of the cone, rather, I should say. But here's why they upgraded this to an 80-mile-an-hour Category 1 hurricane. The reconnaissance plane went into the storm about an hour and a half ago and saw that the winds were up to hurricane force, flight level and also surface level too. And I believe the lowest central pressure they recorded was, I think, 994 or 985 millibars, but it evened out to 995, so that's why they have it at 995 millibars on the latest advisory here. But This is the latest recon pass, and as you can see, like I was talking to you about earlier, tropical storm force winds. These are 55 knots. So these are over 60-mile-an-hour flight level winds. So that probably equivalates to maybe about 50, 55 mile per hour ground level winds, give or take. There, that are still being felt far, far away from the center. There, even parts of northern the northern Bahamas, north central Bahamas there. That are even being felt. So this is a serious storm to take. This is a storm to take seriously here. Again, tropical storm force winds extend out over hundreds of miles out the center. I think it's last I saw is 355, but it may have shrinked a little bit because the storm has shrinked a little bit in size. But that's why they upgraded it to an 80-mile-an-hour Category 1 hurricane, because of that reconnaissance plane that went into the storm about an hour and a half ago and found those winds. In terms of storm intensities, you can see on this latest forecast, they have it at, of course, at 80 miles an hour right now, but they forecast the storm to peak out as an 85 mile per hour Category 1 hurricane before it starts to gradually weaken on out before it goes back out to sea after perhaps hitting North Carolina here as a Category 1 hurricane here. Let's go ahead and look at the key messages here. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but you could, of course, stop the video right now, and this is going to give you the crucial information that, somebody that's not really into weather needs to know about this particular situation here. If you guys are in the cone or near the cone of uncertainty here, read this for just, I guess, a summary, per se, of what I'm talking to you about here. So you can stop the video there and read all that. And then here's the Spanish version of that. If you want to read that as well, I'll stop the video here and you could read that. And in terms of other areas of interest going on, of course, we have the remnants of what used to be Hurricane Douglas out in the western Pacific now. That's currently going on. We also have this is the 3-day cone right here of uncertainty here. You can see the watches and warnings are a lot closer here. Pretty much the majority, probably about 90% of the Bahamas here are under 90 or close to at least 90% of the Bahamas here are under hurricane warnings here, and parts of the Turks and Caicos here are under hurricane warnings here. I'm not too familiar with all the islands and stuff around there, so I apologize if I messed any of that up. My apologies about that. I don't live from there. But in terms of other areas of interest, we have 93L out in far eastern Atlantic here, just southeast of the Cape Verde Islands here. It was at a 50% chance of formation earlier. Now they pushed it back down to 40% chance of formation there. You can read that text there. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but you can see development chance through the next 48 hours to 5 days is a 40% chance of forming. And in the Eastern Pacific, we also have another area of interest here. It was at 20% earlier, but now it's back down to 10% throughout the next 48 hours and next 5 days there, as you can see. So I believe that's about it for me. Remember to always look at the official government agencies and sources for official information here. There's going to be a lot of fake information going on saying this is going to be a Cat 5 or this is going to be so-and-so or so-and-so. This is going to be comparable to this storm and that storm. And people are just going to be spreading a whole bunch of false information. But to get to keep yourself informed on the official information, I highly recommend going to the National Weather Service here. Just type up nws.noaa.gov or just type weather.gov as it gets you on the top of your screen, or just type up NWS, and it'll probably be whatever a top result is. It'll be probably be the top result on whatever web browser or search engine you're using, and you'll know that you're on the correct site when you see this. This is going to be the front page you see when you get onto the official site there. And in terms for hurricane information, of course, follow the National Hurricane Center. Just type up nhc.noaa.gov or just type NHC, and it'll probably be, again, like I said, with an NWS, probably be the top result on whatever browser you're using to get your official information. And you'll know it's the official site because it'll go straight to this page right here, and it'll get all the latest on what's currently going on in the tropics by the officials here, official meteorologists here that have been tracking these storms for years and years and know what they're doing here for the latest information. So again, that's about it for me. Hope everybody has a great day, and you guys are. Stay safe, of course. Always look for the official information here over the next coming days. I know there's going to be a lot of fake information, unfortunately, going around here on this storm. as it progresses up towards the East Coast, threatening it later this weekend. So follow official government agencies for information. Follow your local officials as well too. If they tell you to evacuate, you evacuate. If they tell you to do something, you do it. They're doing it for the interest of your life. They're not just doing it for the fun of it or just to make your life more uncomfortable. They're doing it to save your life and property. So take it seriously. But again, that's about it for me. Hope everybody has a great day or night. You guys are stay safe, of course. Until then, see you guys in the next video. Peace.